Hello everyone, welcome to Becoming Lotus. I love to talk about astrology, mythicism, and cosmic wisdom. I am your host, Genevieve. Today, I would love to share with you my passion in mythology. In particular, we are going to discover how the ancient Chinese folklore described the phenomena like lunar eclipse, as we are going to have the Virgo lunar eclipse in just 3 days. We know that the moon, the timeless symbol of our emotions, intuitions, and spiritual journey, is entering the shadow of the earth. And so today, we are going to explore the deep mystical meaning of lunar eclipse through the lens of Chinese folklore. And as we know, the Chinese is rich with stories that tie to the movement of heavens to our earthly lives. As we gaze upon the moon in these few days, just remember, let us connect to the celestial with the human, weaving together ancient myth, spiritual wisdom, and the current astrological transit that impact us all. How is the lunar eclipse will affect us? What it is teaching us? And how can we use this energy to transmute and transform our lives? Please come with me. Let's take this journey together. In ancient China, the lunar eclipse is a moment steeped in mystery and mythology. The moon, as how we know it, has always held a special place in human consciousness. The moon is the keeper of our emotions, our intuition, and in particular, our connection to the divine feminine. In Chinese folklore, the moon darkens during an eclipse. It was always seen as a time of great cosmic disturbance, a moment when the nature order was shaken. And one of the most significant myths surrounding lunar eclipse is the story of Tiangou, that is literally means the celestial dog. Tiangou, according to the legend, it was a creature with a terrifying appetite for the moon. It was said that Tiangou would bite the moon during an eclipse, swallowing it whole. This myth explains why the moon would disappear, even temporarily, during an eclipse. As the lunar eclipse unfolded, the ancient Chinese folk would react with fear and urgency, often creating loud noises by banging drums, gongs, firing arrows, or setting off firecrackers. These acts were meant to scare the celestial dog away, driving it back so that the moon would reappear and balance could be restored in the heavens. The idea was to protect the moon from the mystical creature that represented both destruction and renewal. The eclipse, in this way, was seen as a kind of battle between cosmic forces. But there is also an exoteric layer to this myth. The moon also representing the feminine aspect of our psyche. This could be seen as temporarily consumed by the shadow of fear, represented by Tiangou, the celestial dog. If we look at it in this context, the eclipse could symbolize moments in our lives when our inner light, that is, the light of our intuition and wisdom, it may seem to be swallowed up by darkness, fear, or doubt. The ritual of driving away Tiangou with loud, forceful actions mirrors our own human desire to push away the fear and shadow that threaten to obscure our truth. The third interpretation of lunar eclipse, of course, as Chinese, we have to talk about dragon. This myth carry the energy of the lunar eclipse, involve the celestial dragon. The dragon, in many Chinese traditions, it was believed to be responsible for swallowing the moon, very much like the Tiangou, the dog. Imagine with me the great serpent-like dragon of the heavens, curling its massive body around the moon. This powerful, mystical creature represents both creation and destruction, life and death. The dragon, its actions could both give and take life, symbolized the cycles of transformation, where darkness and light interwaves to create something new. In exoteric teachings, the dragon can be seen as a metaphor for the unconscious, the primal forces within us that lie hidden, coiled in the deep recesses of our psyche. The lunar eclipse, in this aspect, it could represent moments when we confront the shadow of our unconscious mind, the part of ourselves we have hidden away or ignored. The dragon's swallowing of the moon can be viewed as an invitation to deep dive into these unconscious realms, to face what has been obscured or hidden from our conscious awareness. So how can we connect this mythology to our modern spiritual practices and astrology? A lunar eclipse, in astrological terms, it is a time of accumulations and revelations. It occurs when the earth comes between the sun and the moon, casting a shadow over the moon's light. These can represent moments when our deepest emotional truth are brought to the surface, sometimes in the form of unexpected revelations, realizations, or external events. The eclipses, especially the lunar, are very often associated with the completion of cycles, the ending that paved the way for new beginning. And in astrology, the lunar eclipse happens in pairs with a solar eclipse preceding or following. The solar eclipse brings the initiation of new paths and beginnings, while the lunar serves as a moment of closure. If you think of the moon's role in astrology as representing our emotions, intuitions, and internal wisdom, then the lunar eclipse is like a cosmic clearing. It brings light to the hidden corners of our soul and asks us to release what no longer serves our growth. From a planetary perspective, when this occurs, they often activate important points in our natal charts. For example, if the lunar eclipse falls on your natal moon, this could indicate a time of emotional transformation, and we are asked to release deep-seated emotional patterns or attachments. What if it falls on natal sun? It may point to a time of greater clarity regarding purpose and identity. In this moment, it is as though the universe is asking to confront shadows, whether they are emotional, psychological, or spiritual. The question is, are you ready to transmute the fear and darkness into light? In the myth of the dog and dragon, the Tiangou and Tianlong, there is always a return of the moon, a restoration of balance, and this offers us so much hope, even in our darkest moments, when we feel consumed by doubt or fear. There is always the possibility of rebirth, of the return of our inner light. With that, beloved souls, what does this all mean for us today? As we navigate the current lunar eclipse, we are being invited to transmute any shadows in our lives. Doesn't matter if it is old emotional wound, if it limits our beliefs with unresolved trauma. This eclipse in Virgo offers us the opportunity to release and transform. It asks us to trust that even in the darkest of time, there is the potential for renewal. Look to the moon. Remember that light is not gone forever. It is simply goes through cycles of dark and light, waxing and waning. So we can go through periods of inner darkness, but this darkness is never the end. It is the beginning of a new phase, a new cycle. In this sacred moment, we should let go of what no longer serves us, to release all fear and doubts. In particular, any attachment that held us down. We make space for our true light to shine through. In this short episode, I sincerely invite you to reflect on the message of this lunar eclipse in your own life. What are the shadows that need to be revealed? What need to be released in order to fully step into the light of our truth? It is an opportunity for healing, transmutation, and spiritual growth. Thank you so much for joining me. I am Genevieve. Becoming Lotus is where we continue to explore the mystery of the cosmos and how it guides us in our sacred journey. I sincerely hope that this lunar eclipse will bring us more clarity, peace, and the courage to embrace transformation. From my heart to yours, Genevieve. Thank you. Bye.